Okay, so when we try to come up with a split from a node, so you have many possibilities. Right? So for each and every predictor, you have number of possible values at which you can split. So as we saw last time, okay, so when you have when you restrict ourselves just to binary split, okay, so you get, if you have 20 possible values, we end up with about 500,000 possibilities in terms of where to put the split. So now we need some way of evaluating all of these different splits and select the best. Okay. So that's where the impurity measure comes into picture. So there are several possibilities. So here we have what are called Gini index. That's one that measures the level of impurity for a given split. And then we have what is called entropy. So entropy is also called information. Okay, so how much purity we gain, how much information we gain. So we call information gain in a particular split. Okay. And then we have another one called log worth. Okay. So we'll look at all three, how to evaluate splits. So Gini index uses the probability of the proportion of cases in a particular branch. Okay, so you say, okay, I'm going to split. Okay, so you have, and remember, we're going to look at only binary splits. So you look at the left side, what is the proportion of events? Okay, we have 0 and 1, right? What is the proportion of ones? What is the proportion of zeros? Okay. And then on the right side, same thing. Okay. Now if a split has the same amount of proportions like the root node, then that split is not doing us any good. So if you have like 80-20 in the root node, and when you split, the left side becomes a 90-10. And then the right side becomes like 50-50. So that means there is an improvement, okay, in terms of, well, not 50-50, say 20-80. So you have this side is 80-20, this side is 20-80. So that means instead of being 80-20, now you have some improvement in terms of categorizing. So you get more of ones here than the root node. You have more of zeros on the right side than the root node. So we have a gain in information. Okay? So that's what we need to measure, and Gini index looks at that measure with this formula. So this formula peaks at p equal to 0.5. So if you have, there are only binary splits, so there are only two possibilities. So you get 50-50, then that's the peak that you get in Gini index. We will look at examples in just a second. Same situation over here. So this is the root node. You have the left branch, and you have the right branch. Okay, and then we compute the Gini index for the left branch and Gini index for the right branch. And then we have to make a weighted average of the two. So we take what proportion of, so you have, say, 100 observations in the root node, say 70 observations are branching into the left side, and 30 observations branching into the right side. So you weight the left side index with 70%, right side index by 30%, you get a weighted average of the index. So that's the approach that we're going to take. And entropy, the same kind of situation, except that the formula is a little different. Okay. But again, you do the same thing. You find the entropy for the left side, entropy for the right side, and then average the two weighted by the number of observations. Okay, so same kind of situation. The log worth uses a chi-squared formula. Okay, if you remember from your stat class, so it uses a chi-squared, and let's look at all three of them, how to do the computation. Okay, so now we're going to look at the simple example that we have seen before. That's our riding lawnmower example. Okay, so this shell file is there in Canvas if you want to download. So now we have to, well, let's first look at how many splits are possible. Then we'll take one particular split and then do the computation for that particular split. Okay. So how many splits are there? Okay, let's the pivot table, let's put it over here. Okay. So now bring in income on the left side. Okay, so ownership, so that's our target as columns, and bring in ownership as values. So since ownership is a character column, the summarization is just count. So how many are in each count? So this is frequency. Okay. And this will be income. So what are the possible splits? Okay, so we start from here. So just 33 on the left side, and everything greater than 33 on the right side. And then we have 43.2 and less, okay, these two on the left side, and the rest of it on the right side, and so on and on.